I don't have much time. They found me. I can hear them outside my apartment right now. Heavy boots on the stairs, the click of weapons being readied. But before they silence me, you need to know what really happened in 1961. You need to know the truth about Vostok 1, about Yuri Gagarin, and about what we brought back from space. My name is Dr. Viktor Sokolov. I was a Soviet physicist assigned to the space program in 1960. They told us we were making history, that we would beat the Americans to space, that we would prove Soviet superiority to the entire world. What they didn't tell us was that we weren't the first. What they didn't tell us was that something had already been waiting for us up there. It started with the dogs. Everyone knows about Laika, the first dog in space in 1957. What they don't tell you is that Laika wasn't alone. There were others, dozens of them, and some came back changed. I remember the day they brought in Belka and Strelka after their orbital flight in 1960. The official story said they survived, that they were healthy, that it was a triumph. I was there in the recovery facility when they opened the capsule. The smell hit me first. Something wrong, something chemical and rotten. The dogs were alive, yes, but their eyes weren't right anymore. Too bright, too aware. Like they were looking through you instead of at you. Dr. Leonid Volkov, the lead veterinarian, noticed it too. I watched him examine Belka, his hands trembling as he checked her vitals. Her brain activity, he whispered to me when no one else was listening. It's increased by 40%. That's not possible. What does it mean? I asked. He looked at me with fear in his eyes. It means something happened up there. Something we don't understand. They kept the dogs in isolation after that. I wasn't cleared to see them again, but I heard the stories. Late night screaming from the kennels. Guards who refused to go near them after dark. One handler who claimed Strelka had spoken to him in Russian, though everyone said he'd gone mad. Then came the human missions, the ones that didn't make it into the history books. In February 1961, 3 months before Gagarin's famous flight, they sent up Vladimir Ilyushin. He was a test pilot, brave and skilled, the kind of man who'd fly into hell if his country asked. They told us it was a routine test of the Vostok capsule, that he'd orbit once and come straight back. The launch was perfect. I watched from mission control as the rocket climbed into the sky, a pillar of fire against the gray Moscow morning. Ilyushin's voice came through clearly on the radio, calm and professional, reading off his instrument checks. All systems normal, he reported. Approaching orbital insertion. Colonel Mikhail Petrov, the mission commander, a man with steel gray hair and eyes that never showed emotion, sat at the communications console. Next to him was Dr. Elena Morozova, our chief medical officer. She was young, maybe 30, with sharp features and an intensity that made people uncomfortable. She'd been transferred to our program from somewhere classified, somewhere even I didn't have clearance to know about. The orbital insertion went smoothly. Ilyushin completed his first orbit without incident, but as he came around for the second pass, something changed. "Control, this is Vostok," Ilyushin's voice crackled through the speakers. "I'm seeing something outside the window. Something moving." Petrov leaned forward. "Vostok, clarify. What are you seeing?" There was a long pause. When Ilyushin spoke again, his voice had changed. It was tighter, strained. "There's something out here with me. A light. No, not a light. A shape. It's getting closer." "Vostok, maintain calm," Petrov ordered. "Describe what you're seeing." It's not from here," Ilyushin said, and I could hear the fear now, raw and undisguised. "It's not a satellite, not debris. It's alive. I can feel it looking at me. Control, I need to abort. I need to come back now." Dr. Morozova was writing furiously in her notebook, her face pale. I moved closer to get a better look at what she was writing, and I caught a glimpse of the words. "Same pattern as Belka. Contact confirmed." "What pattern?" I whispered to her. She looked up sharply, her eyes meeting mine. "You're not cleared for that information," she said coldly. On the radio, Ilyushin was screaming now. "It's inside. It came through the wall. How is it?" The transmission cut to static. Petrov was shouting orders. Technicians scrambling at their consoles. Re-establish contact. Get me a visual. But there was nothing, just static. For 3 hours, we heard nothing. Mission control was in chaos. People arguing about what to do, whether to announce the mission publicly or keep it classified. Then just as suddenly as it had cut out, the radio crackled back to life. Control! This is Vostok. It was Ilyushin's voice, but different. Flatter, calmer. Requesting re-entry authorization. Petrov grabbed the microphone. Vostok, what is your status? What happened? All systems normal, Ilyushin replied. Ready for re-entry. Vladimir, are you hurt? What did you see? I saw nothing, Control. All is well, requesting re-entry authorization. Something was wrong. I could see it in Petrov's face, in the way Dr. Morozova had stopped writing and was just staring at the speaker with wide, frightened eyes. They brought him down anyway. What choice did they have? I was there when they opened the capsule in the recovery hangar. The moment the hatch swung open, that same smell hit me, the one from the dogs. Chemical. Wrong. Ilyushin climbed out smoothly, too smoothly, like his movements had been choreographed. His face was expressionless. His eyes, God, his eyes were just like the dogs. Too bright, too aware. I am well, he announced to the room. The mission was successful. Dr. Morozova approached him with a medical kit. Vladimir, I need to examine you. That is not necessary, he said, and I swear his voice had no inflection at all, like he was reading from a script. I am in perfect health. It's protocol, she insisted. He stared at her for a long moment, and I saw her hand tremble. Finally, he nodded. As you wish. They took him to the medical wing. I wasn't supposed to follow, but my curiosity overwhelmed my caution. I found a supply closet with a vent that opened into the examination room, and I listened. Your pupils are dilated, Dr. Morozova was saying, and your brainwave patterns. Vladimir, what happened up there? Nothing happened, Ilyushin replied in that same flat voice. I completed my orbit. I saw nothing unusual. You were screaming on the radio. You said something came through the wall. I do not remember saying that. Vladimir, please. Whatever happened, we need to understand it. For the program. For future missions. There was a long silence. Then Ilyushin spoke again. But this time his voice was different. Layered. Like multiple voices speaking in perfect unison. You do not need to understand. You only need to send more of us up. More humans. More vessels. The time is coming. I heard Dr. Morozova gasp. What are you? I am Vladimir Ilyushin, and I am something more. We are waiting. We have always been waiting, and now you have finally reached us. I didn't wait to hear more. I fled from that closet, my heart pounding, my mind racing. But I had nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. This was the Soviet Union. You didn't just walk away from a classified program. The next day, Ilyushin disappeared. The official story was that he'd been injured during re-entry and was recovering in a secure medical facility. But I knew better. I'd seen him. He wasn't injured. He was changed. And then they announced Gagarin's mission. Yuri Gagarin was everything a hero should be. Young, handsome, charismatic, with a smile that could light up a room. They paraded him through the facility before launch, showing him off to all of us, building morale. I shook his hand. I looked into his eyes and I saw nothing but humanity there. Nothing but excitement and a little bit of fear. Normal fear. Human fear. I wanted to warn him. I wanted to tell him what had happened to Ilyushin, what I'd heard in that examination room. But how could I? Who would believe me? And even if they did, what could they do? The mission was happening. The orders had come from the very top. Stalin was dead, but Khrushchev was no less demanding. The Americans were close. We had to get a man into orbit first, no matter the cost. The night before the launch, I found Dr. Morozova in her office. She was drinking vodka straight from the bottle, something I'd never seen her do before. You shouldn't be here, she said without looking up. I know about Ilyushin, I said. I heard what he said, what he became. She finally looked at me, and I saw that her eyes were red from crying. Then you know we're sending Gagarin to his death. Can't we stop it? She laughed bitterly. Stop it, Victor. This has been planned for years, decades. The Americans found something in 1947. We found something in 1952. We've been studying them, trying to understand them, trying to make contact. The space program isn't about exploration. It's about reaching them, meeting them, and now we're finally close. What are they? I asked. We don't know, she admitted. We call them the Watchers. They exist in space, somehow surviving in the vacuum, maybe living in it. They've been observing Earth for we don't know how long. And when we send humans up there, when we get close enough, they make contact. They don't communicate with words. They communicate by merging, becoming one with the host. Ilyushin was the first successful merge, but there were others before him. Failures, cosmonauts who never came back, or who came back as things we had to destroy. My blood ran cold. And you're still sending Gagarin up? We have to, she said, her voice breaking. If we don't, the Americans will. And we can't let them be the first to make official contact. We can't let them control this. Control what? The future, she whispered. Whatever these things are, whatever they want, they're offering us something. Knowledge, power, evolution. But it comes at a cost. Humanity, identity, our souls if such things exist. I left her office feeling sick to my stomach. That night I barely slept. I kept seeing Ilyushin's two bright eyes, hearing that layered voice saying, "The time is coming." The launch went perfectly. Gagarin's voice was calm and clear as he reported each milestone. Liftoff, stage separation, orbital insertion. He completed his orbit, took his famous look at Earth, and said those words that would echo through history. I see Earth. It is so beautiful. But I was watching Dr. Morozova, and I saw her face go pale when Gagarin said something else. Something that wasn't in the official transcript. Something they edited out before releasing the recordings to the public. I see them too, Gagarin said quietly. They're here. They're beautiful. The transmission didn't cut out this time. Gagarin kept talking, kept reporting, but his voice began to change. Subtly at first, then more noticeably. That same flatness I'd heard in Ilyushin's voice. That same layered quality. Re-entry nominal, he reported as the capsule began its descent. All systems functioning. I am well. I am very well. When they pulled him from the capsule, Gagarin was smiling. That famous Gagarin smile. But his eyes, God help me, his eyes were too bright. They examined him. They questioned him. He answered everything perfectly, said everything he was supposed to say. The mission was a success. The Soviet Union had put the first man in space. We had won the space race. But I knew the truth. We hadn't won anything. We just opened the door. Over the next few weeks, I watched Gagarin carefully. In public, he was perfect. The heroic cosmonaut, the smiling face of Soviet achievement. But I saw the moments when he thought no one was watching. I saw him staring at the sky with those two bright eyes. I saw him speaking to people who weren't there, his lips moving silently, as if listening to voices only he could hear. And I wasn't the only one who noticed. Dr. Morozova was keeping notes, documenting every strange behavior, every anomaly. She showed them to me one night, her hands shaking. It's spreading, she said. Not just Gagarin, others who've been in close contact with him, technicians, doctors, even some of the political officers. They're changing too, slowly, but it's happening. What are we going to do? I asked. I don't know, she admitted. I've tried reporting it up the chain of command, but they don't want to hear it. As far as they're concerned, the mission was a success. Gagarin is a hero. Anything that contradicts that narrative is considered treason. Then we need to get out, I said. We need to run. She shook her head. Run where? This isn't just a Soviet problem anymore, Victor. The Americans are sending people up too. Glenn, Carpenter, Shira. How many of them are coming back changed? How many of them are spreading it? This is global now. I felt a chill run through me. How long do we have? I don't know, she said again, but I've been studying the pattern. The Watchers, whatever they are, they're patient. They're not invading, they're infiltrating. slowly replacing us, one person at a time, until there are more of them than there are of us. And by the time anyone realizes what's happening, it'll be too late. That was 3 weeks ago. Since then, things have gotten worse. Gagarin has been traveling, meeting world leaders, being celebrated as a hero, and everywhere he goes, more people change. I've seen it happen. I've watched their eyes go bright, watched their movements become too smooth, too perfect. Dr. Morozova disappeared 5 days ago. Her apartment was cleaned out, all her research gone, as if she'd never existed. I'm next. I know I am. They've been watching me, following me. I can feel their eyes on me even now. So I'm writing this down. I'm leaving this testimony in a place where someone might find it. Someone who can still think for themselves, who hasn't been changed yet. You need to know what's happening. You need to understand that the space program, all of it, Soviet, American, everyone, it was never about exploration. It was about contact. And the contact has been made. They're coming up the stairs now. I can hear them. Multiple sets of footsteps, moving in perfect synchronization. They'll take me, just like they took Morozova, just like they took so many others. They'll try to change me too. But I won't let them. I have a gun. One bullet. It's enough. To whoever finds this, look at the people around you. Really look at them. Look at their eyes. If they're too bright, if they move too smoothly, if their voice has that flat, layered quality, run. Get as far away as you can. Don't let them touch you. Don't let them get close. They're at my door now. Knocking. No, not knocking. Something else. A rhythmic tapping, like a signal, like a code. And God help me, part of me wants to answer. Part of me wants to open that door and let them in. Part of me wants to join them, to become part of something bigger, something beyond human understanding. But I won't. I can't. Because I remember who I was. I remember being Viktor Sokolov. I remember being human. The door is opening now. They're coming in. I can see them. Men in uniform, women in lab coats, all with those two bright eyes, all smiling that same empty smile. And behind them I can see him. Gagarin, the hero, the first man in space, the first man to truly make contact. He's reaching out his hand to me. Victor, he says in that layered voice, don't be afraid. Join us. See what we've seen. Become what we've become. The stars are waiting. I'm raising the gun now. My hand is steady. I'm sorry, Yuri, I say. He smiles. We are all sorry, but it is too late. I pull the trigger, or at least I try to, but my finger won't move. My hand won't obey. I look down and see my skin beginning to glow with that same strange light. My veins are turning luminous. I'm already changing. I've been changing for weeks, ever since I shook Gagarin's hand. The gun falls from my fingers. Gagarin steps closer, reaching for me. Don't fight it, Victor. I try to back away, but my legs won't move. I can feel it spreading through me, rewriting me from the inside out. My thoughts are becoming clouded, mixed with something else. Something that isn't mine. No, I whisper, but even my voice sounds different now. Flatter. Layered. Gagarin's hand touches my shoulder and the change accelerates. I can feel my humanity slipping away piece by piece, replaced by something cold and vast and utterly alien. My vision is blurring. The room is filling with light. I can hear voices now, thousands of them, millions, all speaking in perfect unison inside my head. If you're reading this, if you found these papers, then it's already too late.